to have put more effort on it, but I didn't eat my chicken. And so please now stop what you are doing and watch this. Yes, your breath. Now I want you to close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Feel how the air enters through your nostrils, up to your nose, and now back down to your trachea, and now how it enters into your lungs. Exhale slowly, close your eyes. And now this is an exercise to remind you that you are alive, that you are here, present, in this moment. You can now open your eyes. So this was a short mindfulness meditation, what we just did. And since I'm a mindfulness meditator, and I know the benefits mindfulness has introduced into my life, I wanted to show you how mindfulness can not only change your life, but also, literally, your brain. I'm María Mora, as was introduced already. I'm doing a PhD in Medical Life Science and Technology at the Technical University of Munich. And the thesis topic of my research is investigating the effects of mindfulness meditation in the brain after a short mindfulness training. Since the advances in neuroimaging, we can now use this technique to analyze the structural and functional changes in the brain after a cognitive training. In this case, mindfulness meditation will be our cognitive training that will help us improve some aspects of our cognition, such as our attentional control, also known as executive attention. But what's executive attention? This is the capacity we have to choose between what we ignore and what we pay attention to. There are three main regions in the brain that play an important role in attention, and this is the prefrontal cortex, the insula, and the anterior cingulate cortex. But now we know that for a cognitive function, it's not performed by an isolated region in the brain, but by several of these regions working together. This we know as a network. So there are three main networks related to attention. These are the central executive network, the default mode network, and the salience network. The central executive network is also known as the stay on task mode, and this is the one that is done when we are focused on performing something, for example, reading a book. There's an opposite network that is done when we are at rest. It's also known as the mind-wandering mode or the daydreaming. Since the nature of these two networks, they cannot be on at the same time. That's why we need another network that mediates the shifting between these two. And this is the salience network. Interestingly, two main brain regions of the salience network are the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula. And this is a network we'll be training while performing mindfulness meditation. This leads to our first research question. Is there actually an improvement in our control of attention after a short mindfulness meditation training? To address this question, we'll use a cool technique called functional MRI. This is a method that enables us to detect the areas in the brain that are active while performing a specific task. In this case, we'll test the attention of our participants. And we expect to see an increasing activity in anterior cingulate cortex that goes along with an improvement in their attentional control. We also have a second research question. Are there changes in the structural connectivity between the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula? To answer this question, we'll use also a super good technique that is called diffusion tensor imaging. And with this method, we can create representations of the white matter tracts of the brain. Here are some examples of our white matter tracts. So, the research I'm conducting consists of 50 participants divided into two groups, one control and the other experimental. The experimental group underwent a web-based mindfulness intervention for 31 days, and they had to meditate 15 minutes every day. The control group also work their attention every day for 15 minutes while learning about topics related to how to improve their health or well-being. This was a blind sided study, which means that they didn't know, one-sided study, which means that they didn't know to which group they belonged. The participants were scanned after and before the training, and well, we are just waiting to analyze this image. Thank you very much.